As a kid, I thought my dad was a magician because he could make chewing gum appear out of nowhere. Whenever I said to him,
"Daddy, can you make me some gum appear?"
he would say,
"On the count of 3, I'm going to make a piece of gum appear. 1, 2, 3.
And the gum would appear. But over time, I realized that he always bought the gum in advance and kept it in his pocket because he already knew I was someone who always asked for gum. But one day I said to him,
"Hey, Daddy, why don't you make a lollipop appear instead?"
And he told me he was only a magician and a bubblegum specialist and that he couldn't. And the worst part is that for more than 4 years, he fooled me and I thought he really was a magician, but in the end, it turned out he wasn't. One time, I couldn't hold back the urge to go make homemade pineapple water and I had to go in a public park, but I peed on a police officer because I've always been a big peer. So that day we were far from any bathroom and well, I decided to go on a little tree, but then I hear a voice behind me that says,
"Hey kid, what are you doing?"
But I didn't stop my stream. So I turned around to see who had spoken to me and I peed all over the leg of someone wearing black pants, but as I looked up, I realized it was a cop. And well, the good thing is they didn't take me to jail because I was 10 years old.
Hey, I'm calling you from prison.
One time? No, I'm just kidding, guys. This video isn't in tamarindo format. I just wanted to make a short video to show you this Funko Pop my girlfriend gave me for my birthday, which was on November 1st. It's just that since I'm kind of irresponsible, I hadn't shown it to you, but here it is. Let's open it. Here it is. I've already opened it. Now I'm holding my head. And here I am. This is the 10 million plaque, although the 10 million plaque isn't black.
100.
100 million?
Yes.
This is the 100 million plaque that I still don't have. I just got the 1 million plaque that's around here, but well, God will decide if we actually get the 10 million, the 100 million or not. We're going to try, that's for sure. And well, here's the Funko Pop. Let's turn it around. There it is with my once pose. My Zorro shirt actually has this on the back. There we are, the little hat, my grumpy face, and Genga's necklace, which, well, the first time I bought this necklace, I didn't even know who he was. I just said, it looks nice, it shines, it has a diamond, it's cool, and it cost me 70 pesos. So I wanted to make a long video, but I chose to make a short video, showing you the Funko Pop, and well, here it is. My girlfriend made it for me for my birthday, and here's the little box, there it is, Skydimer 738, and the description of the Funko Pop. If you want to see it and you're nosy like me, then pause the video and read it, although I think it looked really blurry. One time when there was COVID, the worst thing in my life happened to me because I had bought some mazapanes to enjoy and survive the pandemic. Before eating them, I washed them with the wrappers on to avoid catching COVID. So later on when I wanted to eat them, I saw they were all broken apart, but I still put them in my mouth. But when I tasted them, they tasted like skunk fart since the soap and water had gotten into the mazapan. And from that moment on, my taste for Mazapán was ruined. Now they disgust me and I don't like them. Once when I was a teenager and went to high school, they called me Nescafe because I was made of nothing but beans. And before I turned 15, my face was as smooth as a baby's bottom. But after a while, I started getting not just pimples, but erupting volcanoes on my face because my whole family has oily skin and that makes acne come out more easily on the face. One day, since we gave each other nicknames at my school and I joked with my friends, they called me Nescafe, but I didn't understand why, and I thought it was because I was good in the morning, but that wasn't the reason. But the good thing is that I'm not going to shrivel up like a raisin so quickly.
Push the toxic L and beat up so rude
One time my dad fell in the bathroom because he was jumping around. Because when he finishes showering, he starts jumping according to him to dry off the water. But his bathroom, the floor is slipperier than butter. So he said that when he hit his head hard on the floor, he even saw stars. And he started checking if he remembered his name in the multiplication tables, and he said he did remember. But one day I also hit my head and started saying my name in the multiplication tables. But when I tried to recite the multiplication tables, I realized I don't know the multiplication tables anyway, whether I hit my head or not. One time my parents left me behind at a quinceañera because like any respectable kid, I fell asleep between two chairs while the adults danced to some really lame songs. But instead of falling asleep at the table where my parents were, I fell asleep at the back of the hall because that's where the music was the quietest. But when it was time for everyone to leave, my parents left and forgot me there. It was the sound crew who found me there peacefully taking a little nap. And they had to call the birthday girl so she could call my parents. And when I was with them, I said, "Hey, come on, didn't you feel like something was missing?" And they said, "Yeah, but we didn't know what it was." One time, my Aunt Calabaza was going with her family in an old beat-up car they called the Pichirillo. They were going to the town fair, but then when they were halfway there, my Aunt Calabaza said,
Look at that super old car.
and she goes and shouts out the window at the old car, "Get rid of your junk already." But then my grandparents and my mom tell her, "Calabaza, be quiet. Our car is even older." And then my grandpa feels a big hit in the back of the car, and it was the person from the other car who crashed into them, because what my aunt had said had been heard. And when they get out to look at the back of the poor old car, there wasn't even a molecule left, and the other car was perfectly fine and didn't have a single scratch.
I'm tired, boss, tired.
Once, when I was 10 years old and going to swimming lessons, a girl was drowning because the crazy teacher threw her into the deep pool. He said that's how you learn to swim, but it was her first day. How was she supposed to learn that way? The poor little girl wasn't surfacing, and the teacher said, "Give her time, she'll come up soon." Then her mom, who was there, ran out to try to save her daughter, but not before giving the teacher a big slap. So she barely managed to pull the girl out of the water by her hair, because she didn't know how to swim either. So if she jumped in, she would have drowned too. And in the end, the girl half passed out says to her mom, "I learned how to swim, mommy." Once, when I was 8 years old, I insulted a poor lady who was a friend of my mom because I was crazy and a decrepit child, since poor Claudia told me.
Oh, what a cute boy!
And my parents tell me that I stared her straight in the eyes and said, "Bitch!" But honestly, I don't remember why I called her that. I really went too far that day. Then my dad, to make it worse, says to her,
Oh, Claudia, the kid knows about you.
The good thing is that in the end, Mrs. Claudia just laughed and burst out laughing, because if not, my parents would have given me a big smack on the head for being disrespectful. One more and you're dead. One time, ants were invading my room because I always left food lying around. So one day I came up with an idea that in my mind would change the course of my room. And the thing is, if I killed all the ants but left one alive, I thought that the one left alive would send a message to the nest that there was a massacre in my room and they would never bother me again because they'd be scared. But it didn't work like I thought, because the next day, I think that same ant I left alive called like 5,735,039 of her little friends to invade my room and take revenge.
My God, Lord, save me.
Once my dad almost killed my mom's dad, I mean his father-in-law, because my grandpa was sick with diabetes, and besides he was on a diet because they were preparing him for an operation. So my dad bought himself a champorado, which is a sweet drink, and he offered some to my grandpa, but my grandpa really liked it. So my dad took it away from him and ended up drinking it himself. But later on, his blood pressure went up to about 150, and in a few hours he was going to have surgery. At the end, my grandpa tells my dad, "See, it's your fault. Why did you give me that thing?"
Mama, I'm a criminal. 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 Mama,